Mayweather. Come out them bushes hiding and playing and capping. We know you was the middleman to Ryan Garcia's victory, but what we want to know is, are you the middleman to the steroids?
Bill Haney has just exposed Floyd Mayweather for supplying PEDs to Ryan Garcia for the Devin Haney fight. The breaking news is that Ryan Garcia's test B samples have also tested positive for ostarine. Boxing insider Dan Rafael tweeted, "Ryan Garcia's B sample results were returned Thursday, one day after being opened. I have the lab reports and the B samples. As expected, matched A samples. Both are positive for the banned PED ostarine related to VADA tests the day before and after the Haney fight." April 20th witnessed Garcia's seismic impact on the boxing realm as he sent shockwaves through the sport by flooring Haney thrice in their super lightweight clash in New York, ultimately claiming victory via a resounding unanimous decision. But that triumph is seriously in doubt because he tested positive for ostarine in two separate VADA tests that were conducted the day before and the day of the fight. Garcia fervently maintains his innocence regarding the allegations of cheating, and to substantiate his claims, he proactively initiated the process of requesting testing for his B samples, aiming to validate his innocence. With Garcia already testing positive twice, the odds of his B samples yielding a divergent outcome appeared exceedingly slim. Confirmations have emerged that the B samples from both instances of positive testing have validated the initial findings. The New York Commission's investigation into Garcia's positive test results can now proceed since the results have been verified. If convicted, he can lose his boxing license. Rafael tweeted, "Ryan Garcia's B samples positive for ostarine. As expected, faces hearing, possible suspension, and result of Haney fight being overturned due to failing two tests for the banned PED." However, Garcia's legal team updated the public on his defense in a statement made after the B sample announcement. It read, "Ryan Garcia is committed to clean and fair competition and has never intentionally used any banned substance. Soon after being notified of his positive test, Ryan voluntarily had his hair collected and shipped to Dr. Pascal Kintz, the foremost expert in toxicology and hair sample analysis." The statement further added that the results of Ryan's hair sample came back negative, which is consistent with contamination and clearly proves that Ryan had not ingested ostarine over a period of time. This would be the only way he could have had any advantage in the ring. It added, "Ryan has voluntarily submitted to tests throughout his career, which have always shown negative results. He also tested negative multiple times leading up to the fight against Haney." All of these factors, combined with his ultra-low levels from samples taken on April 19th and 20, point to Ryan being a victim of supplement contamination and never receiving any performance-enhancing benefit from the microscopic amounts in his system. The statement added that they are certain one of the natural supplements Ryan was using in the lead-up to the fight will prove to be contaminated. They are currently in the process of testing these supplements to determine the exact source of the contamination. Moreover, Haney's legal representative penned an exhaustive 8-page missive to the New York Commission, urging Garcia's disqualification from their bout, thereby potentially securing Haney the win by default. Haney pointed to his decision to withdraw from the competition, attributing it to allegations of PED usage, illicit IV administration, and acknowledging that not making weight was a ploy for an unjust edge. He said, "Honestly, I'm not too interested in it. During the build-up, we've seen a lot of interesting things from him. We've seen his character. We've seen the guy cheat. We've seen the person that he is. I don't see myself ever getting back in the ring with him. But I'm a fighter speaking right now about how I feel. We never know what the future holds." Haney stated that, as of now, he wouldn't entertain a rematch. He explained that Ryan Garcia had shown his character by doing anything to win, including cheating, which is just the reality. Haney emphasized that boxing is just a sport, but Garcia had put his life in jeopardy, making it deeper than boxing for him. He expressed, "He put my life in jeopardy, so now it's deeper than boxing with me. I want to take this thing somewhere else now. He could have done some real dangerous things to me that night." The scrutiny intensifies as the B sample is scrutinized, in the company of a representative from Team King Rye, edging closer to potential repercussions for the fighter. Last week, John Haney threatened Ryan Garcia in a video, announcing that the B exam would open in only a few days. The countdown reached its conclusion on Wednesday with the unveiling of the sample. However, Haney didn't hold back in his criticism of Garcia's proposal for a potential new boxing league in the event of a suspension. Ryan Garcia could be staring down the barrel of a hefty suspension spanning 1 to 2 years, along with a significant financial penalty if he finds himself on the wrong side of a PED test once more. Adding fuel to the fire, Devin Haney's camp, including his corner and promoter Eddie Hearn, are pressing the New York State Athletic Commission to to overturn the decision, advocating for Haney to be declared the rightful victor instead. However, such a move would likely extinguish any hope of a rematch between the two fighters. This whole ordeal will just become another anecdote in the convoluted and contentious Ryan Garcia story if the B sample turns out to be negative. However, it might possibly lead to rumors of a new conflict. In a recent interview with Boxing Social, Garcia minced no words when addressing Eddie Hearn, branding him a cabron and accusing him of orchestrating a conspiracy to sideline him from professional boxing. Garcia didn't stop there, threatening to establish his own boxing league should he face suspension. Eddie Hearn is a scumbag. You can't make it look like I'm a cheater when your own boxer cheated. They're framing me. Garcia made this statement confidently in front of the cameras during an event, but a few hours later, he shocked everyone by snapping a smiling snapshot of himself with the promoter. I don't care if they suspend me my whole life because I'm going to create my own league and make my own fights. I'm not going to quit boxing. I'm going to quit this boxing, create my own league, and fight on my own, Garcia added, on the possibility of being punished after the opening and analysis of his B sample. Meanwhile, Haney vehemently criticized Garcia and his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, for resorting to what he labeled a nonsense hair test. Haney took to his X account and made a few harsh postings, disparaging Garcia and his group. In the first of those posts, he wrote, "Ryan and his team knew he would test positive. That's why they did a BS hair test on their own, which who knows if they did it." The San Francisco native subsequently wanted his money returned, which may have included sanctioning costs and the event's whole payment. He declared, "Oscar ain't answered the phone for weeks. I'm calling about my money." At 25 years old, Garcia adamantly asserts his innocence, yet the evidence uncovered by tests paints a different picture. Despite claiming ignorance regarding the positive Ostarine results, he readily acknowledges consuming ashwagandha, D3, and omega-3. However, the true origin of the positive test eludes him. In a strategic move, his legal counsel opts for a contamination defense in their approach to the authorities. Darren Chavez, a key member among Garcia's quartet of legal advisors, expressed to ESPN their firm conviction that a particular natural supplement consumed by Garcia bore responsibility for the situation. He emphasized that the analysis of the hair sample significantly fortified their argument, asserting that their client had not been exposed to Ostarine over an extended duration, thus negating any potential advantage it could have conferred to Garcia in the boxing arena. Garcia's team's last attempt, which used a B sample, produced unfavorable results. Thus, it is unclear if evaluating the supplements will produce a positive outcome. Bill Haney, Devin Haney's father and trainer, responded angrily to Floyd Mayweather after Ryan Garcia's B sample tested positive. Bill is curious whether Mayweather acted as the intermediary in Ryan Garcia's acquisition of the PED he allegedly tested positive for. Furthermore, he alleges that Garcia tested positive for 4 different PEDs ahead of his bout. This revelation comes as a surprise to many boxing enthusiasts, as previous reports only mentioned Garcia testing positive for Ostarine. Is Bill simply improvising on the fly? He seems scattered today, hopping from one interview to another, responding to the news about Ryan Garcia's B sample allegedly testing positive. Yet, Ryan's legal representatives have countered with a statement, asserting they conducted a hair follicle test which yielded a negative result. At this point, who are the supporters to believe? Should they focus on the urine that was positive or stick with the hair follicle test that was negative? Bill Haney criticized Floyd Mayweather, pointing out that on April 20th, Mayweather was grinning from ear to ear and eager to tell the world about the 3.2 pounds he helped Ryan Garcia come in overweight with. Haney noted that now, with Garcia testing positive for PEDs, Mayweather wants to head for the hills and go quiet, as if he were somewhere in Dubai.
Floyd Mayweather, come out them bushes hiding and playing and capping. On April the 20th, you were skinning and grinning from ear to ear. You was happy to tell the world about the 3.2 pounds that you helped Ryan Garcia come in overweight with. Now that he done tested positive for 4 PEDs, now you want to head for the hills and go quiet like you in Dubai somewhere.
Bill added that wherever Floyd is, he and the world want to know more. He acknowledged that they knew Mayweather was the middleman for Ryan Garcia, but questioned whether he was also the middleman for the PEDs.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Floyd, wherever you at, what me and the world want to know is, we know you was the middleman to Ryan Garcia's victory, but what we want to know is, are you the middleman to the steroid?
The New York State Commission faces a pivotal decision. Should they bar Ryan? What's the upside for Haney? Fans are grappling with the notion of Haney emerging victorious, the ultimate bout lies in a rematch with Ryan. How does Haney triumph if Ryan faces suspension spanning 1 to 2 years? It's challenging for boxing fans to decide which of the contradictory tests, urine versus hair follicle, to believe. What will you do, Ryan, if the science is clear? However, Bill Haney, visibly seething with anger, didn't mince words as he blasted Ryan Garcia with accusations of being a deceptive competitor. Bill mentioned the ramifications of Ryan's positive test result, which some people interpret as a hint that they will take this to court. Bill Haney remarked that there is nothing funny about what the Garcia team and Ryan Garcia did and warned them to expect something serious, as there are ramifications for their actions. He stated that no one violates a Haney, emphasizing that they signed up for a fair fight and did not get it, labeling Garcia as a cheater. He highlighted that Devin represents being a clean fighter, not cheating, not using PEDs, and not being a bad example to kids.
Cheaters don't prosper, and ain't nothing funny about what the Garcia team and what Ryan Garcia then did. Expect something serious. There's ramifications in this. We signed up for a fair fight, and didn't get it. Yeah.
Cheater. He's a cheater.
He's a cheater. You know what? The one thing that Devin represents, he represents family and being a role model, being a clean fighter. Devin represents being a clean fighter, a family man, representing the community, not cheating, not using steroids, not being a bad example to the kids.
Bill added that it's important to keep the sport clean and promised to bring closure to the very bad thing the Garcia team did. He emphasized that it's not funny and that they are not playing around. He questioned what message it sends to kids if using PEDs is considered okay, and urged everyone to do better with the sport and take it seriously.
Make sure to try to keep the sport clean, and we're gonna do what we can, to bring some closure to this very, very bad thing that the Garcia team did. It's okay to use PEDs. Come on, man. Let's do better with this sport. Let's take it seriously.
If the New York Commission decides to suspend Ryan for a year following his positive PED test, it's probable that during his absence, Haney could face defeat from one of the formidable contenders or reigning champions in the 140-pound division, effectively extinguishing any hopes for a rematch with Garcia. In April, it became evident that Haney lacks the firepower to contend with heavy hitters in the 140-pound division. This deficiency will only exacerbate as he transitions to welterweight or junior middleweight. Once Haney makes that leap, his days as a prominent figure in the sport will be numbered. Fans will never forget that defeat, and if and when Haney ever faces another puncher, his chin issues will recur. Before facing Ryan in the ring, Haney's management had skillfully orchestrated bouts against opponents who lacked punching power throughout his pro career. The lone encounter with a formidable puncher was against the seasoned Regis Prograis, who boasted a significant size advantage when they clashed last December. Meanwhile, the World Boxing Council is currently on standby for communication from Ryan Garcia's legal representatives, seeking clarification on how to proceed. Now, Haney is pushing for a reversal of the decision, while Garcia staunchly maintains his innocence. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman said, "The WBC has a protocol to follow in any anti-doping situation. We are following that, and we sent a letter to Ryan Garcia's attorney, and he requested additional time to put all the information together, waiting for today's result, which has now been published. We are in the process of the WBC through the protocol." Given that the altercation unfolded within New York's borders, the responsibility now rests with the New York State Athletic Commission to carry out the necessary procedures and ascertain Garcia's fate. Nevertheless, the WBC will also weigh in on the matter, considering Garcia's participation in their clean boxing program and its implications. Sulaiman added, "It was all part of the promotion with VADA and the clean boxing program, so there are fights like this one in which the promoter contracts the fight to be with testing out of competition and in competition." Sulaiman added that the New York Boxing Commission, which has jurisdiction over where the fight took place, will also have a ruling on the matter. He mentioned that they are currently working on it and that everything related to the case is being considered in the WBC's position. He further mentioned, "I don't speculate about what might happen. The protocol is very clear. You can read it on the WBC webpage. The WBC will have a ruling, and the ruling goes from a warning to suspension to fines to so many different things. I don't want to speculate, but the WBC does have a protocol to assess a ruling on a situation like this." Sulaiman also stated that the WBC and the NYSAC may collaborate on a resolution, but he was unsure if the NYSAC track had independently tested Garcia prior to or during the bout. He added, "I don't know if Garcia will have a hearing with New York. We have a process going with the WBC. It could be a joint hearing, jointly processed, but at this time, the important thing to have everything started was the opening of the B sample, which has been finalized." On the other hand, Ryan Garcia was recently served a defamation lawsuit by Logan Paul's energy drink company, Prime Hydration, following the boxer's accusation that the drink was the cause of his positive tests. The former YouTuber said that misleading narratives being spread by Garcia were under attack against his company. Paul posted a photograph of the complaint, which was filed in a Texas court, along with the caption, "Today, we begin to hold those accountable who've damaged our brand for attention while we correct the narrative. We're here to stay and will continue to change the world of hydration with bold flavors and creative innovation." After testing positive for PEDs, Ryan Garcia claimed the drink would kill your guy's brains and mess up your guy's lives and hurt you big time. He even went as far as to claim, "I drank Prime, and I tested positive for Ostarine." Garcia is being sued by Prime on grounds of unjust enrichment, unfair competition, trade libel, and defamation. Meanwhile, Logan said in his statement, "Ryan Garcia thinks the earth is flat." Ryan Garcia tested positive for PEDs. After reports surfaced that both his A and B samples tested positive for the banned substance, Garcia exhibited an unusual reaction. He said, "Let's go. We positive vibes, bruh. Yes, so happy." He added, "I love steroids. I don't care. I'll never make money again with boxing your loss, not mine, for setting me up. The joke is on you all." However, boxing analyst Paulie Malignaggi casts doubt on the likelihood of Ryan Garcia facing a significant suspension. Malignaggi thinks Ryan will be suspended till his next bout and says that he is emerging as the new superstar in the wake of Canelo Alvarez. Right now, in U.S. boxing, Ryan Garcia's star power outshines any other contender. If the New York State Athletic Commission were to impose a lengthy suspension on King Rai, they'd be disrupting the state's boxing scene. Malignaggi added, "While I'd like to be optimistic, the history of boxing and its reputation leads me to believe Ryan will be suspended until he wants to fight next." New York's boxing scene isn't as vibrant as it once was, back in the days of Miguel Cotto and Felix Trinidad. Ryan enjoyed competing there, but his perspective might change if the New York Commission imposes a lengthy suspension on him. Should Ryan decide not to return due to feeling disillusioned by his encounter with the commission, it would mean lost revenue for the state. He's not set on battling it out in New York, and who can predict if he'll ever consider returning? It's a double loss for the city because Ryan's here for the long haul, and it's unwise to sever ties with a budding superstar so soon in his career. Malignaggi said, "I'm very pessimistic about this. I remember Canelo Alvarez, who is still the star of boxing, but it's sort of trickling over to Ryan Garcia now. He was a major star, and he was suspended 6 months, which, if you look at Canelo Alvarez's schedule, he's suspended until his next fight. Nevada recently suspended Canelo Alvarez, a longtime fixture in its boxing scene. Thus, his brief suspension from the state isn't unexpected. However, the situation contrasts with Ryan Garcia's. He has only fought in New York once, and it remains uncertain if he plans to make a comeback there. Ryan's original plan was to have the bout with Haney take place in Las Vegas, where there is no state tax and hence lower taxes. Boxing expert Chris Algieri said on whether Ryan will receive a long suspension, "It's a two-tiered legal system. It depends on who you are and how much money you bring to the table and where you're at in your career." Algieri added that he had been saying this from the outset, noting that this situation is not really going to affect Ryan Garcia. He mentioned that it might take away the win from the Haney contest, but Garcia doesn't care. According to Algieri, Garcia doesn't care. He's going to say, "I still kicked Devin Haney's ass, and whether it's on my record or not, everybody knows it. Everybody saw it." In boxing, there's a long-standing tradition of treating popular fighters like royalty, and fans don't anticipate that changing for Ryan. If Ryan Garcia faces strict consequences, such as a ban for a year or two, who will step up to fill the void as the leading star in the US? Haney isn't likely to be chosen because he lacks popularity. His fighting style is uninspiring, and he hasn't demonstrated the ability to defeat top-tier opponents unless they're significantly older, weaker, and smaller than him. Gervonta Davis enjoys significant popularity, yet he opts for annual fights, steering clear of risky matchups. Algieri said, "If it turns out to be a contaminated supplement, which is what his lawyers will push for, he'll get a 6-month ban, which he wasn't going to fight for 6 months anyway. I didn't think he was going to fight for the rest of this year to begin with." Algieri added that for Garcia, he made a ton of money and feels he got to beat up Devin Haney. He expressed the belief that Garcia did beat Haney, and in the long run, this situation might not matter that much to him. He acknowledged that in boxing, there is unfortunately a two-tiered legal system. He expressed, "Whether it was intentional or not, the proof of burden is on Team Ryan Garcia to prove that this was accidental. If that was the case, this is going to be a short ban, and Ryan will be back in the ring probably early next year." Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.